begin with, it was obviously very strange, and I thought, well, I wonder how long this is going to go on for, as everybody did. But I actually found it quite a freedom in it, which sounds strange. I had no obligations, I had nowhere I had to be, and therefore I could just do what I wanted to do, if you like, very selfishly, but I didn't have to be somewhere at a certain time. The worst thing was not being able to see my sister, and secondly, not being able to go to church, which I missed terribly. But then I found that the weather, God was so good, the weather was beautiful, and though I didn't have any internet or any means of visual contact with anybody, I had the phone, which to me has been a lifeline all my life. So that was something that I could use a lot, ringing people every day to start with, especially praying with people if they wanted me to. But I just found the weather, I just came out into the garden, and I love being out in nature. It was so quiet, no aeroplanes, no traffic noise, absolutely nothing like that. So it was just delightful to sit out here, to rest, to read, to do crossword puzzles, whatever. And I enjoyed it. I felt it was quite a long holiday, the first month and a half.
Once you got past that first month and that feeling of being a holiday, did things change?
Yes, they did. I think I then began to question God in a way, and sort of say, well, look, what is this all about? As it was obviously going to go on longer than we all hoped, or maybe expected, though I did think it would go on a long time. But so I started to ask God, I know you're in control, I know that you know all about this, you know exactly what's happening, and you will turn what is evil into good in some way. But how can we, just as your people, how can we react? What can we do or think or behave? And I'd been feeling for a few weeks just the word trust, which I know you talked about in one of your talks. But I felt trust was what came into my mind. And I thought, yes, God is the Almighty Creator, so He can do anything. We have to trust, not fear, because if you trust and have faith, that takes away fear. And I haven't really had any fear of this. Anxiety, anxious maybe, about what to do or how to be or where I should go or not go, but I've trusted God, and that has been the word right the way through for 6 months, is that.
What would you say is the difference between anxiety and fear?
Well, one can be anxious over anything, little things, medium things, big things, but fear is almost all-consuming. It can take over your rational thought, the way you behave, what you say and do, whereas normally anxiety is something which, well, you can keep reasonably on a level. But fear, well, fear is frightening, terrifying.
So you talked about having a bit of a holiday at the beginning,
Yes.
Having no obligations, not having to be anywhere, and then you moved into trusting God and asking those questions. How have you been able to? How do you feel you've been able to serve God at this time?
Quite a bit on the phone, especially to start with for the first 3 months, because I could pray with people if they wanted it, and that was good. Then I started having people in my front garden, just one person, and cups of coffee, and that was wonderful to see somebody, a human face, to be able to talk to somebody in person, and have a sandwich and a coffee and whatever. Then I came to the back garden, and I thought, right, what can I do? I don't bake, so strawberries and cream. So I had people to have strawberries and cream in the garden, and we were blessed with such wonderful weather. And then it grew into doing meals, and I sort of probably do 3 meals a week now. Obviously the weather changing, so people have come indoors, 1 or 2. But before, we just sat in the garden. I had a hot meal, 2-course meal, and able to chat and talk to people. And I felt, well, they were all single people on their own. So I felt that was a way that I could do something.
What difference do you think that's made to people, and to you as well?
It's enhanced my cooking skills, I know that. And I hope it has helped people. People have said to me that have come, yes, and one person in particular, it was a lifesaver at a time when she was very down and grieving, and therefore it's something which is still continuing twice a week and is good, and a deeper friendship has developed between us, which is wonderful.
So how do you see things, at some point we're going to go back to some semblance of normality, where we don't know what that will look like or when that will be. Are there anything that you are taking from this time, hopefully forward into the future?
I think one of the things that it has taught me, what we said earlier about fear, I don't fear death. Now, I may fear dying, the process of, but not death, because death is only a beginning. And I think to take that forward with COVID-19 with us for X number of months, years, or whatever, that is so important. And I believe that if people can come to know God, they won't have this terrible fear. Yes, there's going to be grief if you lose loved ones, of course there is, and it's terrible. But if they believe, we know they're going to a far better place. I mean, I just know, faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. Well, I hope for a better future, but I don't just hope. I know, I'm sure there is a wonderful life awaiting us, and I'm certain, though I can't see heaven up there, I know it's there, and though it's beyond my comprehension as a human being, I know there is the most wonderful life awaiting me. And I think that is so important to try and get across to people that, yes, COVID-19 does cause death and grief, but no more than many, many, many other things have throughout the history of mankind, from Genesis to now. And therefore, don't fear, have faith, have trust, and just have the surety and the certainty that Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit are here and there waiting for us.